Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
You know what he does first. And Mark, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me again.
You know, Mark, you came into this business in an unusual way because you've been a CPA, you've been, you know, in a very strong business, but I think before on our shows you said you dislike the older folks and you feel badly for the way that many of them are having to survive. Is that putting it a good way?
Well, as my clientele got to be older, I dealt with a lot of clients who just needed some additional help, and found that their kids weren't around, weren't available, didn't have time, and there really was something lacking in the compassion and resources available for older people. So I guess I just kind of stepped in and made a little niche for myself.
What do you think that the older folks need? You know, they came down here, many times they left the community they were living in. They came down here thinking they were going to have a better life, and they did. And maybe one spouse passed away, someone got sick. Is that really what's happening? Or are these all very well and progressive older people?
What I found is that people, as we get older, we tend to kind of internalize and we don't put ourselves out there amongst other people. I'm generalizing, but I do find a lot of people do that. I know my own mother did that, and just didn't let people into their lives as much. So they kind of relied on their kids and grandchildren, and what happens is people have lives outside of their parents. We're the only country that doesn't revere its older people, and if we were in Japan, the elderly parents would be moving in with their kids and living with them. So it's a different culture that we have. Somebody has to step up to the plate. The government provides certain resources, but not enough.
They don't provide love and tender care.
They
That's
don't
the
provide
difference.
compassion. And I get paid for what I do, but it's something
Not a
that
lot.
And not anywhere near what it should be. But seeing somebody smile or say to me, "You're the highlight of my week," when I walk in the door, that for me, that makes up for it.
Well, Dan Verity is watching. He wants me to bring him on the camera. Well, I don't usually do that, but I'll just add him. I don't know why I do that, but okay, I'll just add him. The thing is this, though. What you said was so smart. Years ago, up north, especially in New York, where a lot of people who live down here are from, if they just weren't feeling well, they'd come into the kids' house. The kids came into the parents' house, and it should be the reverse. Now, sometimes the apartment's too small, and we understand that. But many people now have larger homes, and they could make do. If they really cared about their parents, the way I feel about this, there'd be no discussion. Come on, come live with us, come stay with us. Or, if I could afford it, I would get someone to be with you as a companion, right?
That's correct.
So is this a training that we didn't give our kids? What happened?
Well, you know, we've heard of the Me Too movement. Well, there's also a Me Now movement. So people of my generation, I guess, having moved away from our parents, years ago when my parents lived here, everybody lived in the same building. Everybody lived in the same block. Everybody lived within 2 or 3 miles of one another. And they used to sit around and say, "Small world, isn't it?" But it's a little joke. Anyway, things changed. So we had people moving to suburbs, and we had cities growing, and it just, the feeling of taking care of your elderly parents just kind of dissipated. Parents became wealthier. Parents had the wherewithal to take care of themselves. People were living longer. People were staying healthier longer. So there really was no need for it. But when people do get older now, there is a huge need for it, and nobody has trained themselves, and nobody has accepted the fact that it may be them. If I can give a shout out to my significant other, Jamie, she lives with her 94-year-old mom.
How wonderful.
And in fact, she's moving to Delray Beach in
With
3
her mom?
weeks with her mom.
Oh, I love her already.
She has help that comes in during the day from 7 to 3. And Jamie is with her mom from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. the next morning. her mom is extremely lucky to have her, and Jamie is extremely lucky to have her mom. It's a very, very difficult job. Nobody can imagine how hard that is to be, in bed at 6:30 p.m. And if her mom's not eating enough, she gets panic attacks, and I say, you know what? Your mom's 94. Things happen when people get to be older. Nobody's perfected the art of living forever. You have to be patient, and this isn't going to last forever. You've got to make sure that there's no guilt, but you're doing an amazing, amazing thing, and nobody else who doesn't see that every day, if siblings live in a different place, different town or different area, they don't see what she goes through. People that do that for their parents, incredible. I didn't have to do that for my parents. And you know what? When we get together, when I see her, I basically am doing the same thing with her. We all stay in the same bed. Me, Mom, and Jamie stay in the same bed together, and watch TV. And it's such an amazing feeling, and helping her with the wheelchair. These are things that are so difficult. I understand why kids don't want to do it, because they just can't. And if they don't have resources, and if the parents don't have resources to take care of them, it's difficult.
Well, I have to tell you that I have seen people take better care of their pets than their family members, which is a sad thing. But maybe it does start at the very beginning in their home. If they saw their family taking care of, mom, let's say, so your significant other must have seen something when her mother was there with her mother, or something that made her understand it's just what you do.
Well, it's very close, and a very close family, and in fact, but it's different because she has an aunt who's somewhat younger than her mom, and her aunt needs assistance, but her kids don't feel the same as Jamie does. So it's the upbringing within the home, and very, very difficult. And like I said, I think most of it has to do with the fact that people lived longer, and they didn't need their kids. Either that, or they died very young, and the kids, my generation, didn't get to see that. So I think that's kind of where it starts. It does start in the home, and it's a job that most people don't want.
Well, if they have the wherewithal, for instance, there is a wonderful company, and I'll just give them a little plug, this Kind Care at Home. They take care of a lot of seniors, but they do it the right way. That Kind Care at Home, that's exactly what they do. But unfortunately, number one, there may not be a lot of companies out there, and maybe not everyone doesn't know about Kind Care at Home. And the other problem is people don't have the money or the resources to pay someone. That's why they have a lot of organizations that try to jump in. But when they're not being cared for, I go into people's homes. For years I used to go in, and I would see people just languishing there in their home. They haven't eaten properly. They don't get to the doctor. It is very worrisome. And of course, then when the government comes in, they do try to take, they put them into certain places, and it's just not pleasant. So there has to be a whole new wave of caring for the older adults. And everyone says, oh, well, when I'm older, I'll just go to one of these senior communities. I don't want to go to a senior community. I want to go to a house where there may be 3 or 4 other people, someone like you, someone like your significant other, another friend, and we all live there. We kind of watch over each other. Maybe we can afford a manager who manages things, but there are other ways to grow old.
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept, and I think something that may find itself in the future.
Right. It's a golden girl, but a 21st century golden girl, right, where everyone cares about each other. But let's go back to some of your particular clients. Give us some examples of so that people listening, why they would hire you. And let me do that right now. I want to give your phone number out. So if someone needs some help, you need someone to talk to, you need someone to take you to the store, he will find the people. Mark he's a CPA, so it shouldn't be that he does it, but he's smart enough to find people who he has trust in, who he knows what their capabilities are, and can make sure they're not doing something that would hurt you either financially or physically. So his number is, and let's do this so that your you're really very good at this. Then don't worry about the number. It is a New York number. It's 609-238-3603.
Can I
Yeah?
correct that?
Did I do? Please, I got to get my glasses on. I'm
It's
sorry.
609. 609 is South
Yeah.
Jersey. 609 area
Oh, Jersey.
code
It isn't New York.
338
Okay.
3603.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's funny. See, that's what happens to people as they age. They have glasses and they don't wear their glasses, but I will get that number better. And I'm going to do that number again because that's very important. 609-338-3603, right?
Right.
And we have Gary Polk is listening. And Gary Polk actually is a financial expert. He's a very, very nice guy. Lives down in the Aventura area. So everyone that can know this, everyone has a friend or somebody who needs the kind of help that you can provide. I actually told Mark one time that he should call himself a geriatric manager, and the reason is because you can't take somebody like Mark, who really is a professional in a different way, and put him into your house as your caregiver. You have to have someone though who watches over, and we don't have people like that. It's not casual. Someone, the neighbor, will say, "Oh, I know someone," or something else happens. That's the problem, that you need to have that overall person. They need a lawyer, they need a doctor, they need to go on a trip. How are they going to get their airline tickets? That's really what you do.
I was in New Jersey last week, and this is like the perfect time to mention what happened here. So I have a client who she has a daughter who lives in Texas, and her daughter really doesn't want to have just what we were talking about, really doesn't have the patience, time. She doesn't really want to have anything to do with her mom, other than, maybe inherit her money at some point.
Oh,
all right. That being said, when my client's husband was alive, became their power of attorney, and so that's what I am. So what I do is
So did he hire you? Who hired you?
Both of them hired me. They realized that they don't have anybody to take care of them when they can't take care of themselves. And it happened about 2 years later. The husband had a stroke or an aneurysm, and he passed away. So I became the guardian for this woman. Actually, she's fully capable, but physically she started to break down. So I'm her power of attorney. So I basically watch over and make sure her bills are paid. I do all that. And she's very needy. And I made sure she had help that came into the house. She had home aides that came in. So it was my responsibility to take care of her. I ended up over the past year getting her into an assisted living facility because she couldn't take care of herself, and she needed 24/7 care, and it was just so expensive. So part of what I do, the financial part, I realized it would have been cheaper to get her into an assisted living facility. So she has a nice apartment that her daughter actually came and set up for her. So last week when I was there, right before I left Florida to go up there, her daughter called me and said, "My mom is calling me every day to complain. She's sick. Her back hurts. You know what? She wants attention.
Of course.
Okay? She wants you to say, 'I'll come and see you, Mom. I'll come up there for a couple of days.'" She said, "I'm not going." So I said, "This is why she's sick." I said, "Well, what about..." She has a male friend who comes and visits her where she lives and where she is. And
That's
I
nice.
said, "How about him?" She said, "I think the place told him to cool it with her." And I said, "Okay, I'll figure this out." So I said, "I will go see her when I get there." So I went. I got there. I checked her mail, made sure her bills were paid, and I surprised her on Sunday. And I showed up at her apartment, and I said, and she perked up and she jumped up and she said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're here. It's wonderful." I said, "How are you feeling?" She goes, "Oh, my back hurts so much." And I said, "How about your friend? Is he still coming around?" She said, "Yeah, he comes around, but not as much. He's got his own things." And so, but she was so happy to see me. So I don't know many people, CPAs that would take their time out of what they do on a Sunday to go and see their client. Okay, and that's what I bring to the table. I think, when people say, "What do you do?" That's what I do. Anything that it takes, within reason, okay, because I have a life too, within reason, to make sure that people have a smile on their face. They pay my bill, they have a smile on their face. that's what it's all about.
Okay, so it's Mark Morowitz, Morowitz, and the phone number, get your pencils out, it's Pencil Talk Radio, is 609-338-3603. And let's see, the website, that's important. So your website is Morowitz, PA.
CPA.
CPA. MOROWITZCPA.com.
It's under construction, so it may not
so
be the
let's
right
not
place
do
to go
that.
right now.
Let's
So.
just do the phone number. I think that's better. So the phone number is 609-338-3603, and you can go to the Boomer Times and see his picture, and you can read what he writes, and he's a very good writer. The last one in the October issue is called Preying on the Elderly, and that was really an important issue. And we have, a lot of times I get those kind of phone calls, and they are frightening, and only because I guess I know they're false, but I'm sure people have. Yeah, in your article you show that people already pay these people that call.
What people do is they say, your grandson is in jail. When you tell an elderly person that their grandson is in jail, they will do anything to help their grandson. Before they even ask, it doesn't make any sense yet, they'll do it anyway. So I try to put that word out to people. Please call me before you do anything. Okay. By the way, if I can mention this, I've gotten a number of calls from these articles that I've written.
They love them.
Well, there was one woman that called me a couple of weeks ago and yelled at me because she said, I have a bone to pick with you, and she says, you wrote this article like all elderly people have problems. I said, well, I apologize if that's the way you took it. It's obviously, I'm generalizing. It's not all. And I said, can I ask how old you are? And she said, well, I'd rather not say. She said, but I see from the looks of your picture, we're probably about the same age. I said, well, I appreciate the fact. The fact is that you actually read the article, and you understand it. She apologized to me, and she said, it's my background as an English teacher, that I check grammar, and I said, well, perhaps I should have you proofread all my articles.
No, you write. You write very well.
I was kidding.
Oh yeah.
I've gotten calls I've actually gotten a few calls. I did a piece on reverse mortgages. I've gotten, calls, but nothing has materialized as far as,
people hiring
me yet. But you know what? There is
Yes.
interest being generated. And
a lot of people don't get actual calls on their articles, so that's pretty good.
I know. So
Well, you're acquiring a reputation. Let's say that.
Exactly,
okay.
Exactly.
But I want to go.
Everybody needs to know then, and you heard what I just said about the way I handle my clients.
Yes.
I'm out there, okay. And if anybody knows of anybody that has a need for what I do, or doesn't have any children in the area, I'm the guy to call.
Okay, so there are many people now who've been widowed. I think that's probably someone could be very healthy, but when they're widowed, changes their life.
Very quick.
Not only are they lonesome, maybe they lose that Social Security payment, they lose the driver at night. So what do you do? Let's say someone calls and you can tell that. What would you do?
So we would put together a plan of making sure that there's a way to get around during the day. That if we can get things delivered to your house instead of having to go out and get them. There's Uber, there are car services available if you have to go someplace. I know that's one of the difficult things about the older people living in Florida. So we sit and people have to tell me what is it that they miss, and the socializing part of it, that's very important. So if they live in a gated community with a clubhouse, perhaps they'll start to get more involved in the activities
Right,
there.
their friends and things like that.
Right.
But I think of you as a trustee, in a sense, that they may be wanting to do this and do that, and they could sit with you for 10 minutes, and they could make a list of what they're trying to do, and you could say yes, yes, no, yes, right?
Exactly.
And then you'd have some ideas also. You'd say, well, had you thought about this? Or there's a very good agency with companions, and 4 hours a day, that's all you really need, maybe 3 times a week, right?
That's it. And there are a lot of agencies, a lot of things out there. People don't want to do it though. It's interesting. You know, there's
It's the independence problem?
you know, they it's like giving into a problem, and you know they don't want to do that. There's I know in Jersey there's clients have spouses with dementia, and you know, so they sit home all day, and they don't take care of themselves, okay, because they feel like they have to be there 24 hours
Well,
a day.
it's a devotion they have for each other.
Well, but it turns into a resentment because you know they don't have any time for themselves. So I try to get people. I try to direct them to programs like elder care, like
well, there's support
elder
groups.
daycare.
There's support groups too, for them to talk with other
There
people.
are. Most people don't like to do that. It's rare.
Well, why is that?
I don't know. People don't want to air their problems to other people. People,
But they're all airing them at the support group.
Yeah, I know, but people don't want to go and
see.
you know, and I don't know if it's admitting that they have a problem, or if they're afraid that they may be judged. You know, that's an individual thing. I know I go to a couple of support groups, and it's interesting. You realize that there's a lot of people in the same boat as
Exactly.
you.
I'll share something that I had a friend whose mother had Alzheimer's, and the mother kept accusing her of stealing her money, all the typical things. So I got her to go to a support group, and we started laughing because they all said all their parents do the same thing. Oh, you're taking this, you're taking that. Who are you?
Right.
And once they get past that and they feel that they're not alone, that's why I suggest it. So I'm glad that you do try to get people
well,
there.
the support group is for themselves.
Right.
People need to know that they're not alone, and you know, it's difficult when you're taking care of a parent with Alzheimer's or something like that. So. You know, we all need somebody to lean on every so often.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's really wonderful that you're doing this. You see, a lot of people try to take this on, and they don't really have the abilities that you have. So it's pretty good, you know. And I'm happy that Mark, that you're taking care of this. Tell me about some advice, though, that you may have for people. Let's say there are some parents now, not parents, but the kids. And the kids know they have to do something. They're up north, and they come down for a weekend, and they think that they can solve all the problems. Is it good if they go ahead and they would hire you? Now, you would communicate with them up north, wouldn't you? You'd give them maybe a weekly report?
They have access to me every day. You know, if they have any questions at any time. But yeah, we would speak probably more than once a week. You know, we would come up with a plan of what needs to be done. Do we need to hire somebody to come into some aides to come into the house? Do we need to get them into an assisted living facility? A lot of time, you know, what happens when people get older, they want to maintain their independence. You know, the first thing that typically goes is the driver's license.
Right.
Once you give up your driver's license, you've given up a lot of independence. There are still ways around that. There are you know, local buses. They're in your community.
They're actually local drivers. They're people who want to earn a little extra money, and they're in all the condominiums, and they'll drive you.
That's right. So there are ways around, but what happens is that people, once they give up their independence, everything else starts to deteriorate, and that's where somebody local can monitor that and just bring it to the attention of the loved ones who actually do care. But they just, you know, that everybody, again, has their own life.
You know, you just hit on it. You probably should call yourself not the lone arranger, but the arranger.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Because that's really what you're talking about. It's an arranger who knows you've met with the person, you're experienced enough, you're financially smart, and you're kind. That's really important.
And I've mentioned before that an easy way to think of me is a surrogate son, okay, or surrogate brother,
surrogate
or whatever.
son.
I'm in it for my clients.
Yes.
Okay, I get paid. I'm not
Right.
interested in becoming
And you
a
don't get
beneficiary.
paid a lot. I want people to know that.
That's correct. I will show you how you can afford my services. How about that?
I love that. Yeah.
So that's what I do, and for the benefit of the grammar of my grammar instructor in somewhere who chastised me before, I don't mean all elderly people again, okay? This is just some.
No, we understand that, and you know, because we tend to, all of us tend to do that. The phone number again is 609-338-3803.
$3603.
Did I do it again?
Do it one more time.
This is really wild. I can't understand.
Do you want me to do it?
No. Yeah, you do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
609-338-3603.
Okay, do it one more time.
609-338-3603.
And don't be afraid of the 609 because that's from New Jersey,
It's
right?
a cell phone number. It doesn't cost anything to call, so you're fine.
Right.
Okay.
And this will be on Facebook, and so you'll be able to show this to other people, and then this will go on our website also. So this is very exciting that you do this, you come here. But you know, it's interesting. It's always better to have someone talk. You know, ads and articles, they do something, but when you really hear that person, you know who they are. You can tell from their voice.
You know, I have a YouTube channel myself. Also,
You do?
I don't know how to access it yet because my marketing person is.
So they put this
these
on for you.
That's correct.
Oh, that's
So,
great. Okay. Well,
next time I'll be able to.
Yeah, this will be great. So we ought to title this something. But I want everyone to be sure to read the November issue on taxes because that was I learned a lot from that myself. That was really good. So that was
coming up.
Yeah, that's right. It's coming up. So thank you, Mark. We'll have you on again.
Thank you.